There's definitely a lawsuit here with the inspection that came with this place.
Did we coordinate today, Daryl? Is this
Black?
Black Shirt Sunday again?
I think so.
Holy
It
moly.
feels like a black shirt Sunday.
If only I had black headphones.
It's a friggin' circus around here, man. You should. I got the roofers that were supposed to be here on Monday
Yeah,
started this morning
I don't hear 'em.
after. Well, you don't hear them.
Yeah.
A lot of the noise is done, but it's like a demilitarized zone here, and then the dog's going bananas
Oh
every
no.
2 seconds.
Karma.
No, Karma's
She's
a
upset.
bitch. Yeah, she's upset. Well,
Yeah,
she's just protecting her turf, constantly.
absolutely. Absolutely. That roof. She doesn't want anybody up on that roof. Squirrels and raccoons are no
That's
exception.
that was the problem. There were
Yeah.
so many critters up on that roof that it literally disintegrated. I got to tell you, there's definitely a lawsuit here with the inspection that came with this place. Now,
Ooh,
whether
let's talk
I'd like
about that.
you want to talk about that, because I think this might actually become a thing out there. If people are going to start
It
finding
is.
these,
It's already a thing. It's already a thing. It happened
but
in 2017.
for sure. But
Yeah.
like this inspection, you want to hear this? So we get this inspection, and part of it says that the roof needs like some work, right? And they take some pictures of some like not so good looking patches, but like it's held up. We've been here for a while now, but we knew we had to fix it. So I started getting quotes, and one guy goes up onto the roof and he's like, "Do you know what's going on up on the roof there? Like where you really can't see anything from the ground?" I said, "No, I've never been up on the roof before." And he starts sending me these pictures. It was literally like a tarp, my roof. And somehow the inspection report failed to mention or have a picture of this.
Of a tarp?
A friggin' tarp, man. Like we started seeing like a little part of the roof start fluttering in the wind from time to time. And I was like, it must just be a patch, like a little
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah.
The roof's like 800 different colors and missing a giant part of roof. And it's just like a big tarp.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure. And if there's any lawyers out there that are listening, like, let me know. Do I have a case with that? But
Well,
there's more, TK. There's
okay.
so much more. And I don't want to get into the specifics, but like this is gonna start turning into a thing for people that have far worse issues than I have at the moment, right?
In 2017, when the market changed, agents have been recommending pre-listing home inspections for about less than 10 years, I would say. Probably 2015, 16 is when it really picked up, but maybe a little bit before that, some people will do it. In some areas of Toronto, you're shunned if you don't provide a pre-listing home inspection. Oh, I can't believe that's not part of your services. Well, here's the reason why. If you, Daryl, had not been provided a home inspection report and you had decided to buy that property without an inspection, caveat emptor, okay, buyer beware.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be talking about a lawsuit right now at all? Or would you say, I guess I should have got a home inspection? Someone probably should have gone up on that roof. Or was it because you were provided information from a representative of the seller that you're now contemplating legal recourse?
It's because I had to rely on that because I had no time to rely on anything else.
But I'm asking you a question, Daryl. If you had
sure. If I
made
had
that decision on your own without being provided a report.
Oh yeah, if I said don't worry about it,
would you even be thinking about a lawsuit right now?
Probably, but like I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Okay, and you probably
and I wouldn't go
pay
after
that retainer
it, but I'd be
to the
like,
lawyer to go after them.
I'd be like,
dun dun dun, drum roll. So by an agent recommending that their client does a pre-listing home inspection only adds to their liability. And if you ask a real estate lawyer, a good real estate lawyer who understands litigation, I guarantee you they will agree with me that these pre-listing home inspection reports are a nuisance. And I personally, and our group of representatives. Don't use them. And so far to date, I've had many firm offers without them. So therefore, the use of them is only going to work against the seller. Can we get the fan? Audio guy? Can you do the fans, the roar going?
We can maybe.
Like all the, I want
but we relied on
football stadium type of fans.
Even though you may not suggest to your clients that are sellers to get them.
Buyers want them. Absolutely. Buyers want them. I'm representing the seller though.
No. But I'm saying, okay, you're representing me. We got it, right?
Yeah, we wanted it for a
we need
buyer.
it for sure. It's way better than
no doubt about
blind,
it.
for sure.
No doubt about it.
But this is the thing. So now I have maybe an opportunity to go after a guy that's got some insurance, right? Against this kind of a thing, because if they didn't have insurance, they wouldn't be doing shit like this. Although this is like, shall I use the word fraud, TK? Because,
absolutely. I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
Buyer walks into the property.
Boom.
1 week after closing.
Oh.
Finds mold in the basement.
Everywhere.
Dum. Goes to the neighbor and he says to the neighbor, "Hey, Jim, I got mold in the basement."
Oh, yeah. There's been mold in that house for 30 years.
I can't believe it.
Every time I talked to Jim when he lived there, he was talking about the mold, eh?
Jim says, I'm surprised the home inspector that they had there a week before they got it sold didn't let them know or didn't show it in his report. And you know what the buyer, the new homeowner, says to Jim, the new neighbor, after 1 week of living in the house? What home inspection? Because the seller buried it once they found out that there was an issue
in the mold.
And now they know about it, and it becomes a latent material defect that they should have disclosed. And now there's more liability.
Oh my God.
Because their real estate agent said, you should do a pre-listing home inspection.
Everybody they're going to want it. It'll help you close. In that environment, though, like, if it wasn't part of the deal, it just wasn't part of the deal. Like, we were going anyways, right? We knew we were going in blind.
You were going anyways. You loved the house. You weren't saying anything about a home inspection. You know, these people look like nice people. Their kitchen smelled good.
Listen,
I'm gonna go
read the thing though. No, but look, I read it and I understand stuff. So I was like, okay, I can live with this shit. But like, I guarantee you, if there was a picture of a tarp on my roof, I would at least have been able to, like, maybe navigate for the last year or more since I've owned the thing, like, done the roof, because all of a sudden one night I'm lying on the roof.
Yeah.
Well, I'm lying there and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I hear dripping coming in through the roof and hitting the drywall.
Sometimes I hear weird things in my attic too, but it's all sealed up. I've got all new everything up there, and it's like, maybe that's a mouse or something.
Well, thank God I'm doing this right now. I'll tell you though, like, I'm holding off on doing some renovations because I think in this current environment, we're going to have a lot more labor available to do stuff, right? A lot more labor. And you know what? I was also thinking, let's talk about unemployment for a sec, because those stats came out and everybody's talking about them. I don't even, like, forget the fact that I don't think that there's any stat that means anything anymore, because they're all so fudged up. It's ridiculous. But like, if I just take this roofing crew that's at my house right now, I would guarantee you that there are more people that are employed that may not be on a list saying that I have full employment right now, right?
Yeah, my contractor group's like that too.
Right? It's like,
one guy speaks English, and that's the only guy I need to talk to.
Yeah, no problem. I'll give you a warranty even though you're paying cash. Don't worry about it. I'll give you a receipt.
I'll come back anytime you need me. Don't worry, just call my number.
We're claiming everything over here.
That number could have been 3 months ago.
You have to pay cash. You got to pay cash though. But we're claiming everything, and we'll give you everything.
You don't have to. I mean, we'll charge you 30% more if you don't, but it's up to you. I mean, we'll give you this discount, the HST. This is the number, cash or not cash.
And it's like, good morning, and they're all like, right? And then they start talking to each other, and I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
But this is what we're dealing with. Okay. So the numbers are all, there's Gina, made it in.
Welcome.
Hello.
We got it.
Welcome.
We got it. Hands in the air. You want to do a wave? Everybody ready? TK, we're going to do a wave. Gina, woo! Oh, round normal
Oh
again.
man.
That's better than the last one I saw at the Dome. I swear to God, when I was a kid, the best thing ever was a good wave at the Sky Dome. I will not call it
That's
the
it.
Rogers Center, at the Sky Dome, okay? And we had that thing going around one way, going around the other way, going around this way, and it was electric. And we were at like a playoff game, okay? And they couldn't even get one time around the goddamn place,
Brutal.
one time on
I always
one
hated
level.
that section. You know, you look across and you see the section who dropped the ball, and you're just like, man, those guys are brutal over there.
There was a
Right?
bunch of fans from the other team. They blocked us every time. They just
Yeah.
killed it. They had the whole section. It was done. We didn't stand a chance.
Should be filled
Anyways.
with school children. That's what the fans should be.
School children. Now
Yeah.
they could
They
fill
get
more than
excited.
one
They get
stadium.
excited. Yeah. Yeah.
They got nothing to do though.
Adults have like too many problems to get excited.
We create
Exactly.
them, don't we? We jump into
We're
situations
texting on our
we
phones
don't
while
need to be in.
They're pitching in the second inning. Gina, Daryl and I have something really important to do right before we start the show. Okay. Just because we always seem to forget. And if you are listening right now, like, comment, and subscribe. We will reply to every comment that makes somewhat sense down below.
Isn't too rude.
Don't forget to hit the bell.
Thank you, TK.
Gina,
for
welcome.
that.
Welcome.
was-
Nice to
Hey
meet you.
guys,
Well done. Can you tell us how to pronounce your last name, please?
I can, but you don't have to worry about it. It's Athanasiou.
I
That
was
wasn't that
pretty
difficult,
close
Darryl.
before. Did
It's
we
not
record
bad.
that? I was pretty close. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it looks like it should be, which
That's
is rarely
most
the
Greek-
case. All right, good.
That's
Thank
most
you.
Greek names too, by the way.
Right? They're all pretty
It-
simple.
They are, but
If
they
you break
just
it down syllable by syllable, Daryl.
you feel like you need to add some like in there because you hear how Greek people talk, right? You think you
Yeah,
feel like
yes.
you're gonna have to add some Greek flair into it, but it's there. It's just the way it's pronounced. But anyways, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. Last minute, all of a sudden, Gina's like, "Hey, remember you invited me on the show? I want to come on the show." Gina's on a mission now.
Tell us.
Yeah,
Tell
tell
us.
us.
Well, I'm not on. I've always been on a mission, but I guess I'm on a mission openly now. I want to improve our industry. I really, really do. I find that we've become a laughing stock, you know, and I think that we need to tighten things up if we want to survive, right?
Yeah.
What are some of
yeah.
the things that when you say laughing stock, what are some of the things that people are saying?
Keep in
Well, I
mind,
think-
TK is not on Twitter, so it's like you're talking to somebody who has no idea about our universe.
And if
Well,
I
it's
am, I
not-
don't
it's
read
not-
Twitter, so it's not a.
It's not just Twitter, TK. So I think, you know, if we want to be treated as professionals, we have to behave like professionals, follow our code of conduct, follow the rules. And I feel like with the amount of agents that are currently in our profession, it's very difficult to have a standard that everybody really follows. And I think you will agree with me as a fellow agent that it's, you know, we do know that there are things that need to change.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
But like, let's just get like into a few small specifics. So is it they don't show up for their appointment? They're 2 hours late? Is it they, tell buyers to buy when the market's going up and that it'll never go down? What is
All
that?
of the above. All of the above, TK.
How did I know? Okay. And so,
you know, it's that plus, you know, it's literally the lack of professionalism, right? And I think it starts with the education piece, right?
Okay.
And I don't fault new agents or agents for not knowing certain things, because I think the education piece of how to become an agent is pretty weak, right? I mean, if we are dealing with people's purchases and sales, you know, we're talking, let's say in Toronto, we're talking about an average of $1 million. I think we need to have a little bit more education and skill in order to be able to do that job well, right?
And not only that, but like all these other factors that are involved that not like what percentage of the realtors have not lived through anything negative at all? Like if they came in after 17, like
Yeah,
some of the pre-con people haven't even closed a unit ever.
right.
Like this is the environment we're in out of 70,000 people, right?
Yeah. And that's just Toronto. That's just our board, right?
That's just here. It's like it's an insane asylum. But
Yeah.
there are some companies, like I know Frank Leo has a crazy training program, and everybody in that actual Remax West, like there's a serious training facility, but that doesn't stop people who are incentivized to, you know, sell a house.
Yeah.
Right. And some people,
you mentioned Toronto. Do you think this problem is province wide? Do you think that it's a because it is a provincially regulated industry, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what, because I don't really know for sure. I know what goes on in Toronto, but is this something that people in Barrie and in
I
Thunder
think
Bay
so.
are dealing with?
So Donna was supposed to be on, and we were going to have a conversation because she has been, I believe, board president for Hamilton, and she feels very similar, right? And Donna, I wish she was on because she is you guys have had her on before, and she is a wealth of information because she has been around for a very, very long time, right? So she is the veteran and she has seen the change, and she's also not happy about, you know, the way our profession has basically gone, right? It's you know, if you look, so I was licensed in 2005, but I was around the industry since I was 18, and I'm gonna be 48 this coming year, right? So it's been a long time, and I've seen changes, right? I've seen changes, but Donna would have a much better, you know, perspective of it because she was trading in the 90s, right? And I think anybody who has been around for longer than 5 years sees, you know, what is wrong with the industry right now. And I'm not saying it like, oh my God, we've been around longer and we're older and we know better. No, I think it's like we all have to stand up and say something, because if we want this to continue, if we want to do this job, we have to make it better, right? Like we have to raise the bar, you know, like that cliche.
But listen, some of the more experienced in the bunch are the worst by a long shot. Like it just depends on the individual, and then kind of who they end up working with at some point in their career, right? Like if you end up in a great office where everybody's like honest and open and they have programs, and it's like I mean, you probably still end up with a scoundrel in one of those.
Of course,
chances are,
there
right?
are. So then the problem becomes, Darryl, is where is the enforcement and where is the oversight, right?
Where's the responsibility? Whose responsibility is it to keep these people in line, right? And I mean, we all know the answers, and it's not only the associations. I mean, there's a trickle down, right? Like the broker of record probably should have something to do with it.
100%.
Right?
So I was speaking with another agent this week, and we were talking about how, you know, every brokerage has a FinTrack compliance employee in their office. Now, why can't we have a compliance officer in each brokerage for ethics, right? Like, police your own agents. I think that's really, really important. Like, if the broker of record doesn't give a flying, you know, about his agents, then how is anything going to change? There's 5 investigation officers at RICO for, you know, 100. I don't know how many agents are in Ontario, but let's just even take Toronto board, over 70,000 agents. How is that going to ever work? Right?
Apparently it does not, though. That we're all sure about. It does not work.
Right. So if we want to start somewhere, maybe we need to start with the broker of records actually taking responsibility for their agents, right? Because at the end of the day, as an agent, I am representing the broker. And when I take listings or I sign contracts, it's under the broker's name. So they need to take responsibility for their agents.
Maybe there's no repercussions, like strong enough repercussions. And that a broker, this is the business model, Darryl. The more agents you have, the more money you make.
Sure. The
bottom line.
Yeah, no, listen.
So, okay, a couple of them cost me some fines. A couple of them cost me some, you know, publicity. A couple of them cost me, you know,
it's the cost of doing
relationships.
Business. Yeah.
You know, so what? I got,
and
I'll say this number and you might, you know, get the picture. I got 3,000 agents in my brokerage.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I'm doing okay. All right. And that's the issue, right? Is that you've got to have some sort of repercussions that are strong enough, right? And I think this Trust and Real Estate Services Act, which, you know, has got a lot of positive benefits for the consumer, right? But there's also a lot of things that have been thrown in there that are, you know, to benefit the realtors as well, too. But there are stuff that's, supposed to be in there to benefit the consumer. And I think that those guidelines, those policies have to be enforced, right? And they have to be really, someone has to get the hammer, just thrown down on them. And then everyone's going to go, okay, you know what? Am I really just going to hire this agent? Am I really going to have, somebody come into the team and just let them loose? I wish I had the answers, but I don't. I agree. Something needs to change.
Anything would be
Yeah.
good, a good step in the right direction. But like,
Yeah.
so right now we have a really interesting situation because, I mean, the market is cleansing itself, right? Because of the rates and because of pricing and because of all the nuttiness going on around most of us, right? So the market is cleansing itself, not only of people that are overburdened by debt, but of the people that, couldn't survive before. I mean, they're definitely not going to be realtors anymore. If you couldn't survive the last 2 years as a realtor, you're pretty much screwed the next two, I gotta think.
Oh yeah, like the last 2 years were like, free money.
Free
Let's
money.
be honest.
Sure. Well, I mean, it really was. It was free money from the government passed on to like Bitcoin, passed on to the realtors, or passed on straight to the realtors, or to the stock market and then to the realtors. And obviously not to the realtors, to us greedy developers.
Somehow the casino
too, right?
ended up with the money in their hands. I have no idea how that happened.
Right.
How did that happen?
But everybody in real estate ended up with the money somehow at the end of this thing. But the reality is that like now there's a lot of light on what makes a good realtor and what makes a bad realtor and what to look out for right now. So like that will help, as somebody we know likes to put it, like that will help rinse out the system too, right? And there's a few things that are currently rinsing out the system, right? Among guys like him and his man of merry men who are actually having an impact. Because I'll tell you, I mean, I've never seen so many people scared to say the wrong thing so quickly ever, right? And on a large
Really?
scale. Oh my God, come on. Everybody was like, most people were like biting their tongues and didn't want to be next on the list. Most people. I'm not saying you. I don't know what you were doing. I know that I just noticed a big shift in people's behaviors.
So it's funny because Darryl, I haven't been on social media. So I actually, so I have had a Twitter account, but I've never, crossed that social media line. Up until less than a year ago, I decided I was going to do TikToks. And the reason I decided to do TikToks is because I saw so much bad information and I could not believe it. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second. If I want to make a difference and if I want to show people that there is an alternative to that type of realtor, I need to get on social media because I really do care about I chose to be an agent. It wasn't like my last option. It was my first option, let's just say, right? So I got on TikTok and then somehow, I don't know how, but I did get on TikTok. And I think it's because our friend posted a video that I had made kind of like poking fun at realtors not, I think it was when we had the second rate hike and I made a funny video with the Drake song, blah, blah, blah. And he posted my TikTok on Twitter and I went on and I saw it and I said, you should tag me next time, right? And that's how I was never on Twitter really, and then I just kind of got on, and so I don't know what people used to be open to saying without really thinking about they were saying before. So I find it interesting that you say that you saw a shift because you would have been able to observe it, right? I wasn't.
I'm fortunate enough to have the lucky perspective of not having a realtor's license, which really changes your perspective on things. It really does. I mean, listen, you guys have to look at things through realtor goggles. I mean, you're realtors, right? That's just the way it is. And you are motivated by a certain thing and you have one mandate, right? To facilitate a real estate transaction, right? And so you're motivated by closing deals, right? But from the outside, when you see this vicious attack on people and everybody all of a sudden is not as loose with their lips and not as out there with their statements or definitive with their statements like they used to be, because there was no repercussion, right? And there was a lot of people giving a lot of opinions because it got likes, it got views, right? And then all of a sudden you just saw, like, you could feel it was different. It was, people were scared. They didn't want to be next, and people would sit in spaces and just watch and listen. And anyways, it's like, it's important because the people that are supposed to be doing it didn't do anything, right?
No.
And then all of a sudden we have the CBC baloney expose, which just puts more light on another problem. And all these factors are I mean, they feel like shit right now. But good, let all those shitty realtors disappear in this and let the cream rise to the top, because it's going to be a bull run again at some point, right? And there's a lot of smart people that want to rely on good realtors and can't find them and get stuck with all these other ones. It's a real problem.
I totally agree with you. Like, it was hard. Listen, cream always rises to the top. And I think now it will be easier for the good agents that provide value and provide what we are supposed to provide to actually stand out, right? It's not about likes or comment, like, it's not about likes or follows, okay? I never believe that, and I don't care how many followers I have, how many likes I have, because my personal business was not based on social media. So for me, if I get, leads on social media, it's a bonus, but it doesn't make me or break me. Like, I don't care. But some agents are basing their entire business in terms of leads on social media. So now that you're telling me that they're more, concerned or like cautious, good, they should be, because you can't be putting out BS, right? Like, you can't. Like, I had an agent, like, I have a beef with an agent on TikTok, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there is a lawsuit going out to her for defamation, because if you get butthurt, sorry, I don't know if I can say these things here, but if you get butthurt by me calling out bad practices and then go after me with false accusations, there's a problem, right? Like, you can't defend your point. Now you're going to personal level stuff. That's a problem, right? So, and that's what I'm sort of seeing, that there is a lot of dislike for what I have to say on social media, whether it be not so much Twitter, but on TikTok, there is quite a bit of dislike from agents. And if you ever go on my TikTok, you'll see most of the comments are extremely positive, because the customer, the client, the consumer understands and sees all these things, but the agent wants to protect these, crappy practices, or things that are creating, like, that sales mentality, and they dislike the fact that I'm saying, okay, when you hear this is what it means, or this is what they're trying to say, like, I'm exposing their marketing material. Holy crap,
Mm-hmm. I think that's one big thing that is different in our industry, right? Is most industries, the biggest soundboard you'll get will be from the consumers.
Yeah.
Ours, it's other agents.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that you always, it's a very competitive business. You stick 73,000 agents, where 1 in 59 workers in Toronto have the real estate license. And, the market softens. I don't know what the total numbers will be. My guess, it'll be around 40% this year, the sales from 2021 to 2022. Right. This is the environment you get. Now it becomes, what can I find is wrong with that person, and everything else like that. And it comes from a place of scarcity, right? It's, people feel like they don't have enough, and they start doing things that they ordinarily wouldn't.
Stupid not to have been doing it before, because you know what? You gave up a lot of market share, you good agents that let all these guys in and didn't say anything. Because listen, the thing about real estate is that even the scoundrels get to come back because they might have a good deal. And so we always want to listen to that guy because maybe he's got a good deal for us. And it's the same thing. Like, it's like, oh, I'm never going to work with that fucking asshole again. That guy did this on this and this on that last deal. And it's like, oh, he's got the listing. Okay, how am I going to work with this fucking asshole again? Okay, maybe right. And you find a way to work with the asshole, because guess what? There's 2.5 points at least on it.
I've heard that from clients before, where like the wife hates the guy's agent, but every time like they bought a property, whatever, he was the one bringing it. And like, he was like, I had to use him like 3 times because, know, da 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 da.
I'm
But my wife
stuck
hates
to
him.
him. I'm stuck
Right?
with him.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, the industry. But I think one of your earlier points, Darryl, was that even people who've been in the business long enough, or you know, doing this and that, some of the things Gina and I discussed aren't happening with the experienced agents. You know, when I think what happens is you get this level of um, uh, empathy or understanding for your clients. Because when something happens to your client because of an unethical agent, you get the wrath of your client, you know, really for whatever reason they were late or how they talked or whatever it was. And so then you remember that, and maybe 3-4 times you might do it again. But over the years, eventually it happens to you enough where your clients are upset with you and you go, okay, you know what? I'm not going to leave the
I'm not going to
lights
do
on
that
in the
again.
basement, you know, ever again, or I'm going to make sure all the doors are locked before I leave the house, whatever it is. And so over time, there's little things like that. So it's in the beginning stages of someone's career that they make these sort of rookie mistakes. The ones that you're talking about are the ones who maybe are unethical and, you know, financial matters or you know, type
So,
of shady business dealings and stuff like that.
yeah,
But
you go to one of these
for the most
discount brokers and you go in and you're young and you get the wrong guy and he goes, "Hey buddy, come over here. I'm going to teach you the ropes. Let's go
For
for
the
a
most
coffee,"
part,
right?
Darryl, though, a very good metric. And I know, Gina, this is something that agents hate when you know, I've been in the business for 30 years. Oh, and
Right.
it's such a pain in the ass. But the likelihood of you being a good agent after 30 years is much higher than if you've only been in the business for 2. Like it's an odds, right? The probabilities are after
Maybe.
30 years, you've figured out some things.
You've made some mistakes. Let's just
You've
say, like, let's
100%.
be honest.
I
Like,
Yeah,
like
you've
I liked what he said though. You figured out some things. Like
yeah.
there's a way, yeah, but people
Yeah.
figure out some shady
I'm
things
sure,
is the
Darryl, but I'm
thing,
just
right?
but also the market
Even if it's like
balances
what
itself.
but what
You know,
percent of the market of shitty realtors will have an impact when there's 70,000 of them and we sell how many a month?
I wonder
Like
what the numbers are percentage wise. This would be a
we
really
need
good
a
stat to know
rating
is out
system.
of the 73,000,
How
how
many
many of them
suck?
have been in the business less than 5 years? How
Oh
many of
my
there
them have
was
God.
somebody, I think Jordan had put something up. I remember this, but I don't remember the numbers. But it's not like there's
It
in
was
terms of
that
like
it was like 53% of the people didn't sell anything. But
no,
if
no,
it,
no.
That we know,
TK
yeah. But I'm talking
TK
about
is talking about how many years of experience, and I think the over 10 years is a small amount.
I
Like,
imagine that. The lion's
yeah,
share of people are probably in the first handful of years, right? Like most people don't
yeah,
make it past 5 or 10. Most people don't make it past 2, I think it is. Pretty
yeah.
sure they gave me in the OREA school, they were like, you know, 80% of you won't be licensed in 2
yeah,
years.
look to your left and look to your right. One of you
You know?
won't be here next week.
Only 4 to 5 of us will be working somewhere else.
That's what
Yeah.
happened to me on my baseball rep team. My coach said, "Look to the left and look to the right," and the guy to your left is in, and there was no one to my right.
So TK, you were talking about these minor and again, leaving the lights on or forgetting to lock a door, whatever. Those to me are those are minor problems. Like they are not like by far in my book, they weigh very little in terms of like ethical behavior.
They're just
And I think it's
annoying.
the ethical behavior that's really got to be stepped up, right? Because if you leave the lights on, it's okay. Like I'll give you a prime example. I had a closing this week, and it was my seller, and I had the buyer's agent barge in her door the day of closing without registered title, kicking her out and threatening to call the police for trespassing.
Mm.
Completely uncalled for. Never mind that it's like a professional, like standard situation, but my seller now got left, thinking that, holy crap, like, is this how all agents behave, right? Like, so I had to, put out the fires and explain to her that this is not appropriate. And maybe, if she wants to complain to Rico, this is a very, very appropriate thing to do, because that's the kind of stuff I'm worried about. It's not like, okay, you left the lights on or you were late for, everybody, like we're human. Okay.
Here's my take. And I'm a very like, I give people, maybe I'm naive. Maybe I give people the benefit of the doubt. If you're an agent and you don't do a lot of transactions, right? You're one of the 51.3%. You sell one house or less a year, right? So you're not doing a lot of transactions. This is your one closing of the year. Okay. You're stressed. You might not even know that the seller has until, title is transferred or 6 p.m., that whole debate. You may not know that, that closing hasn't even happened yet. You might have thought, hey, it's already done this morning, and your client is giving you grief. And so you're under all that pressure. So like, I would give the benefit of the doubt, I know nothing about your situation, but I would give the benefit of the doubt to that agent. Like, that agent probably just didn't know any better and they were under stress. And, we
Okay,
can
but if
understand when
they
people are under stress.
if they didn't know any better, so they should know better, right? Like, these are things that we should
Agreed.
get in terms, like, let's say education wise, we should know that, title needs to transfer, like all these things should be taught to us at the licensing level, right?
They're teaching
the
about
side of it, though.
wells, a lot of stuff about wells and septic systems in this course right now. Like, it's like
just hear me out though. Just hear me
roof
out.
pitch.
Let's say it's something else then. Let's say it's something else totally innocent. The fact is, it's a stressful job, and we're dealing with the second most stressful part of their life. First is death in a family. Second is moving. So there's a lot of pressure from our clients. And if you're doing one transaction a year, you don't know how to handle that stress. Your emotions are wild, and you're an animal, and you're just
probably borrowing money to survive. Like, you're borrowing money.
I know.
Broker,
my point.
Right?
This is my point. I'm getting there. So if we had less agents, then agents would be busier. So there'd be a certain amount of transactions every year in the real estate board. We limited it to 25,000 licenses, whatever it was. And you had to wait for someone to retire before you could take over theirs. And then everyone would be doing more business. Commissions would go down. So the consumer would benefit. That's the truth. Okay. And agents would be more accustomed to transactions. Because when I'm going through offer dates, like, this, when I'm doing like 2 offer nights a week and I'm listing all these houses and I'm like a well-oiled machine, and then I don't do it for a month. And I'm like, okay, I got to take that step and I got to go over here and I got to make sure everything goes well, right? Because I'm trying to figure out that whole system again, because it's a lot of pressure. Same thing on the buyer side. You're making offers for your buyer every day. Here you go. There's 6 offers here. There's 7 offers. You know what to say. You're doing it really well. Oh, I don't do that for a month. Now I'm going in. I'm up till 11 o'clock at night and I can't sleep or do anything else because all I've been thinking about was that one purchase. It is an emotional type of job, right? So if people are doing more transactions, they'll do a better job, and then less emotions will get involved and everyone can be a better professional. So
I won't disagree with you, but I think if you can't manage your reaction to thing, then maybe you should not be dealing with people's second most stressful situation of their lives. That's my opinion.
What's
right?
the first?
Death
in the family.
Oh, okay. So, but hold on a sec. So a point I was trying to get to before is that we're in this unique situation where, on top of all of the craziness going on out there and the interest rates going up, and even though prices are going down, the interest rates have gone up so much that it's more expensive every month to buy the cheaper house. And now they're not only are they going to bring in like the most ridiculous amount of people ever, which we've already cleared this year, but they're going to up it by 20% right off the hop, right? So, I mean, was it you? Were you at the DMV or whatever the fuck we call it here in Canada the other day?
Drive test.
You're getting drive tests. I've been through the passport ringer 3 times already in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't take a genius to see everything's broken, right? Everywhere. Every system is completely broken. And now we're going to just throw more people at it while we're trying to like filter out the shitty realtors. But guess what? It's the #1 game in town. It's like,
it's the only game in town, Darryl.
It is. Well, I'll disagree with that, but it's a good game, right? And it's easy to get into, and it's very inexpensive to get into, but every ancillary part of it is the game, right? Whether you're a mortgage broker or an appraiser or the guy that's flying the drones nowadays, or like there's
the
just
stager, the cleaner,
the videographer,
the
editors. Like, it's a crazy industry. It's the engine, right? And so the engine wants to die and the Bank of Canada wants to kill it, but they want to kind of put a floor under it with more people, I suppose, right? But like, and then they make it easier for us to build more houses, but nobody can build any more than this. Like, we're maxed out by a mile, and we're going to bring in a bunch of people that don't know how to do anything. well, they're probably pretty good doctors and engineers, but they don't know how to pour concrete. So they're not going to be useful unless they want to be Uber drivers, right? So like this, the whole thing is just so fucked up. How we like, is there a step that we can take now with realtors? Like, why isn't there a rating system on realtor.ca? Like every realtor's in there. Like we just have to add.
We would abuse that in a minute, Daryl. I'd find every way to be the #1 realtor.ca rated agent, because somebody would figure out a way to make it happen with some sort of bot.
You pay for reviews, and you pay for followers, and you pay for everything.
It's all
Come
garbage.
on, like,
yeah.
You know, it was funny. I was sitting on a panel like last year with an agent, and he's like, yeah, I bought followers on Instagram. You know, and I, you know, I understand where these people are coming from. He's like, well, then I have authority because I have more followers. But he's like, it was a bad idea because my engagement went down. And I'm like, obviously, man, like you're buying followers. Like what? Like it blows my mind. Like for people to do this to seem like they're an authority, right? Like you buy followers for authority. How about you be an authority to be an authority, right? Like show your value and people will listen.
Daryl and I are like
that's
Olympic
why we have
athletes.
no followers. Right?
We're like
Yay!
Olympic athletes. We're au naturel in the YouTube space. We do not use any performance enhancing substances, and we're just out there. We've thought about it. You know, we've been pressured. We've been
TK is a performance enhancing substance.
We've been solicited, but we've just said no. And for those reasons,
TK?
Except for the ones we said yes to.
Yeah.
What?
How many DMs do you get, TK, with maybe you're not on social media, but like I get DMs on Instagram to be you know Forbes, like the magazine where you can pay to be like top 30 under 30 or whatever BS that is, or Buzz you pay to talk. I'm like, it's all so fake. I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe this world exists.
What's Daryl doing there, Daryl?
You could do that in the
Daryl, we couldn't see it
industry.
But what that was it was Daryl's career highlight of being on the cover of an architectural magazine. Right?
That I did not pay
for
for.
them, Matt?
You goddamn right I did.
Yeah.
That was great.
I know, Gina.
advertising.
I get all those things. Yeah. I mean, I've had them in the past more probably than today, but definitely all the, I don't know, pickmyagent.com is telling me that I'm one of 20 spots available and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm like, okay. So
I have like a small following on TikTok. Like I have 5,000 followers, but
awesome.
I always talk about, and I tell this, like I'm not going to call it mentor, but I help a few agents that I think are going to make it. And I think are good agents and they should be supported. And I tell them it's not because, you know, they're focused on how many followers you have, how many views, how many likes and whatever. And I'm like, listen, it's not about that, because the number of followers I have a deep connection with those followers, and like I've received, like my last closing was from it was a $2.1 million home, and it was from TikTok.
Yeah.
Nice. And this woman, you know, like people, follower count does not reflect the power that you have.
No, it's crazy. That
quality over quantity.
Were you in the Twitter space? I said that to Woes the other day. Like guys like that fake Steve Saretsky, or what's his name? Like Steve Saretsky's ego. Honest Steve. That guy destroyed TikTok with one tweet. Like everybody ran for the hills, or sorry, Twitter. Yeah, I'm not on TikTok. I don't know anything about TikTok, but Twitter, this guy threw out a tweet, blew up Twitter, and you start to realize, like, I mean, we even realize that with our few, like, what do we have? 8 followers now, TK? Like, we have an impact with the 8 people that follow us. It's crazy.
It's so funny when you say Twitter, because I just want to highlight something here, Daryl, just so you know, okay?
Yes. Who are you?
You're in
TK?
a very small, you know, microcosm of Twitter. This is just a bunch of people who are interested in Toronto and Canadian real estate. And there's probably maybe 10, 20, 30,000 people max.
It's a bloodbath.
And I'm pretty sure Twitter has like 100 million users or something like that. It's not, he didn't blow up Twitter. He blew up
No,
a
no.
few
I
He blew
people
up
that you follow.
my Twitter, TK.
He blew
Okay.
up Toronto real estate
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. The point is he made
Okay.
an impact and he has 3 followers. Okay. Like he made a serious dent in a bunch of people's like experience, and people literally like deleted their accounts over this, and people that took years to build up those accounts to the levels that they were at. Now, of course, you can come back from being deleted, but like it's a statement, right? Like they
It's a
were
big statement.
very upset with what was going on, and it like there's a lot of people that were behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and all over the place over like this guy who just nobody knows who he is. Nobody knows where he came
I've
from.
heard his voice. I've heard his
Yeah,
voice.
he's a guy. Yeah,
He's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy, and he's a guy that isn't one of the other guys that's voices I recognize, you know? But like, who the fuck knows who he is? But man, did he like just, and this is the thing. When people realize the power of social media, generally they probably find out the hard way or the wrong way. And then they go, oh boy, now what? Now what, right? Now what should I use this for?
Darryl, I think we're around the same age, and
Yeah,
you know, the truth comes out. No matter
Yeah.
how much you want to hide whatever truth you've been hiding, whether it's
Yeah.
me or you or whoever, it comes out. So be transparent, be honest, and you know, we all make mistakes. When you make a mistake, own up to it.
Suck it
Like
up,
that's how
yeah.
I've been raised. I don't know about you, but like
100%. Yeah.
I fucked up, I gotta take responsibility because nobody else will.
That's back to my point when Darryl was saying, but people who have been in the business a long time can still, if they were really that bad, it does get exposed. Like, you know, something goes down eventually that sort of cripples their plans. And there's lots of people who, you know, you'll see, you know, in the newspapers or whatever, and like they've been in business this long or whatever, like they get caught. Like for the most part, to me, I think the market always handles itself with pricing, with realtors being in business, with any business, with retail businesses, anything like that. You know, you can't gouge people forever. And people accept that you have to be providing the highest level of product and services. Otherwise, the market will respond and you're out there. Commissions, same thing. Darryl and I have had these conversations about commissions. Believe me, Darryl, if the value was not there, nobody would be paying it. Nobody would be. Right? And
Sure.
so there's always going to be that sort of dynamic. And when the value is not there and someone can get something that's equal to or better than for less, they will.
They will.
And that's the market will always balance out.
And it's coming. And people have to be ready.
No doubt. I'm not. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So let's go back to this commission thing. And TK is completely right. Not everybody deserves the same amount of money. Period. Like,
yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm going to put this out there. The person that just got their license last month does not deserve the same amount of money that I would charge. Hands down. There is no way that they have the same experience or knowledge that I do that can help their client not barge into a house that hasn't closed yet. Not create this scene. Like you have to have knowledge and understanding of the process, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how, I don't care what people charge. I know what I charge and I know what value I bring. Does everybody deserve the same? Probably not. 100% not. I believe very strongly that they don't. Sorry.
More importantly would be the client's perspective. So, you know, somebody who's more experienced is going to be able to net someone more money on the sale, or, you know, provide them more value on the buy because they have more experience, and that's why they're worth what they're worth.
Okay,
right?
But
so the client gets more value out of an experienced person than they will out of someone who's not.
The last 2 years, a monkey could have gotten you the same amount of money. So experience didn't matter because the market spoke in the last 2 years, right? So like that's the problem. Like, so, you know, somebody who had zero experience, didn't know what they were doing, were able to charge the same amount of money because the market did the job for them. Let me see what you're doing now. Show me what you're doing now.
Ironically, Darryl, the only animals that are exempt from getting their real estate license in Ontario are monkeys. That's it. Everybody else is allowed.
I can't
just need
say
to have a
that
pulse.
word anymore.
I
can't say that word anymore. I've been
well,
that's been taken away from me out of fear of being a racist.
But there's 3 requirements to get your real estate license in Ontario, and the first is you've got to pass some exams at some school that, you may or may, you might have to show up, or you could just send someone who looks like you. But either way, those exams have to be passed.
I don't even think you can show up anymore.
Two, you have to be, I think, at least a resident of Canada. And somebody who's at least here, physically present here. Like, you've had to have been here at least a few times, right? At least some, your feet have touched Canadian soil at some point. And third, and the most difficult part, is you have to have a pulse. Because no pulse, it's just, they're not going to give it to you, Darryl. Otherwise, that license, it's going to stay there waiting for you.
You can get a tutor, for the real estate course.
I used to tutor. So
Yeah.
I used to tutor back like a long time. But when I first got my license, I did tutor a couple people to write their exam, but it was different. It wasn't like it is now. So
it is crazy.
Ours was open book. You got to go in there with your book, and you wrote all your notes in, and you just showed up with the book. And like, I'm here for the test. I don't know.
My daughter has to like scan the whole room with the video, and like, you have to take all these programs off the computer, and like, it's like a crazy protocol. And then if you get booted out in the middle of an exam, like, you've never seen such pandemonium ever. It's crazy. And you can't, I don't think you can't go there anymore.
I think it should be a 2-year program in person, like every other. Like, how is it that, and you can sell something that's $1 million in the most stressful situation of someone's life, and all you have to do is do some online courses. Like, there's a form for everything. You just press a button, and there's a form
optional
gets
forms.
added.
They're optional.
There's things that a form does not do, right? Like, so
Really?
the emotional intelligence and the understanding of the process is not form based.
No.
I really like the idea that I came up with just about half an hour ago. A limited number of licenses, like
great.
taxis.
It's great. And you know
Just
what?
give out, because my dad's been in the business since 1983, and he doesn't watch the show, so I can say this, right?
Yeah.
But there's certain people who don't need to have their license anymore. He can live off some referrals and he can have that type of situation, right? And so there's people who, he can benefit. He can sell his license, right? So it's like, at the end of the days, you go, all right, this one little kick of the can, final show here, you sell your license to someone else. And so you have a limited number of licenses, therefore higher level of standard, therefore higher transactions. You can get unlicensed assistants helping you do a bunch of other things. We can actually create businesses for realtors, not just whatever you call the show we're doing right now.
The brokerage can have a rating that leads to the amount of commission people that are part of that brokerage can get. And then there's
only so many brokerages allowed.
Well, and there's only so many spots, right? And then there's only so many spots at each brokerage. So like, if you
and they know how much they can handle. This is all we can handle, and I'm picking the best of the best.
We did it, guys.
Yeah.
How do we get there? How do we get there from here, though? How do we take away?
We're gonna do it.
It has to be grandfathered. You have no choice but to grandfather it, right?
Grandfather what?
Well, it's the only way to do it. So they would have, like, right now, okay, you got your license. As long as you maintain it in good standing, you keep it. This is a long-term plan here. Over time, they're not going to give out any more licenses until somebody gives up theirs, and then they have a plan to get it down to the number that they want. So
it has to be quick. It has to be quick and swift. Technology is going to fucking eliminate half
that's
of
effective.
Them. Come on, the technology is going to wipe out a whole bunch soon.
Well, then that's what'll happen. But that would be the commitment. So then that way, because it'll change people's mindset too, is if you really want, like Gina said, this was not her last stop. This was, her first choice. And so therefore, when people start thinking about getting their real estate license, they'll be like, okay, I want to take it seriously. They'll do a program like Foch did, or they'll go and, shadow people and do internships and stuff like that. And then they'll get into the business because they have a passion for helping people. Those are the people we need. We don't need anybody else.
You should have to own a house too, and have gone through the process yourself before you could sell anybody else a house, at least one time. You can learn a lot in one transaction. A lot more than zero. That's for sure.
Well, someone's got a lease places,
and you shouldn't
so you lease the place first.
I was just going to say that's the opposite. You can't learn on a lease. It's not even close to the same.
You do. No, you learn a lot on a lease. I
suggest learn a lot, but not about the right thing.
Well, a lot of different transactional things, how to talk to people, how to deal with an agent, go back and forth, how not to get emotional, like importance
if you're going to be
times and communication and all that stuff. There's a lot of good.
You can, but if you're going to be a leasing agent, you should practice leasing. And if you're going to be a sales agent, you should practice on a sales team. And you should
when there's only
have to,
25,000 agents
pledge
in the city,
there's
you
only
won't have to make that decision.
Yeah, and you can only take like 4 youngsters a year, and they're going to be vying to get into like the good brokerages. It's going to be like real school now, like how school was supposed to be, but for realtors.
Leasing doesn't require a license. Is that a good idea? That was a question. That was a question.
Let's not even go there, because that's like a whole other topic.
Okay. All right. Bad idea. Scratch that idea. Leasing requires a license.
We'll edit that out.
But an unlicensed agent, an unlicensed assistant can do your showings for leases. No, that's not a good idea either. No, forget it.
No, that's
all right. 2-tier program.
Good.
You have to go through a
you have to article. You have to article.
You have to article first. You have to do your what do they call that? Medical
articling, no?
Residency.
Oh, no. Residency. Articling is law.
Articling is law.
It's law.
Yeah. How about we get rid of lawyers in the deals altogether? That would help, wouldn't it? Reduce some of the costs too.
No,
really. If the appraiser is actually held to a different like standard and level, that they actually have to appraise the home properly, like that makes a big difference. If you put like these mechanisms in place where you can now like go on your own and be trusted to buy a house, like maybe you need some kind of a planner, like a financial planner to sign off that like, you know what, he can actually afford this thing. Like we've ran the numbers and based on, you know, like some serious projections, you know, like maybe if he's 58, you don't count on his salary going up for the next 15 years as part of the plan, you know?
I totally agree with you on that side, because I have a friend who actually does recommend that to her clients when she's unsure, where she says, you know what, I think here's a financial planner you need to, because it's not up to me to say, well, you can't afford this. Right. And the mortgage broker is not going to say, well, you can't afford this because we're commission based. Right. Well, whatever. Like I would say that. But a financial planner should be part of this process.
They can pay the same no matter what. They're just there to give their opinion.
No, but then like you look, even just as the realtor, I mean, how many, like you're looking at these houses people can't even really afford, right? And you don't know what they can really afford. You go by what the hell they're telling you they can afford. Yeah. And you even take me for an example with TK, for God's sakes. Like we were in one price point at the beginning and we realized, right? And I told TK, this is how much I can afford. And we're looking in this price point. We're like, shit, we're never going to ever get a house in this price point. Forget it. And he's like, Darryl, go get pre-approved. And I said, shut up, TK. Like, don't worry. I'll get the money. Don't worry. I'll get the money. And like, but the agent has to figure out in this situation whether he actually can get the fucking money. But if the bank or the lender needed me to have a financial advisor sign off on it, like you're goddamn right, I would have to do that, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody actually knows, including me, what I can afford to buy, right? At what rate? And
what you should be buying.
What you should or could be buying, not like what you fucking want, right? And then
not the stress test.
And this, well, the stress test. Oh my God. Oh, we could keep talking for like another hour here. I don't even know if we got to anything on my list, but this was great.
What was your list?
Well, I mean,
the green belt. What, do we have the green belt on there?
The green belt wasn't even on the list, believe it or not, because that just like flew into my radar last
yesterday.
But yeah, we got the strike. I mean, that I thought we'd kind of talk about, and I was gonna kind of segue into maybe needing a union for realtors.
No, we don't need a union for realtors. We
can you imagine?
Oh my God.
And then we forgot about the giveaway. TK, you think anybody's still listening right now? Is it worth even talking about the giveaway?
Yeah. We have maybe one
2 people left.
extra ticket for
the Looney
December
Hour
10th,
in
December 1st in Toronto
at the Hockey Hall of Fame
at the Hockey Hall of Fame with the Looney Hour crew.
Our friends.
If you're a fan of the Looney Hour or you're a fan of us and or both of us, we're going to be giving away 1 ticket to the December 1st show. So we will announce the contest next Sunday. Stay
If
tuned.
we remember.
You have to tune in next Sunday, and then you'll find out how to join us. This will be a VIP Canadian real estate show event for one lucky
tour you.
guest.
We will be your tour guides for the
We'll be your tour
evening.
guide. Yes. Dinner will be provided.
We didn't really
At
talk about
Hot
interest
Dog Stand.
rates. Like, I mean, those are pretty big things to not talk about this week, aren't they?
I think today was good. I think this was all about the
Beautiful.
organizational
We
demand that the
we
real estate
figured it
industry
out.
has.
We figured it
Because-
out.
We figured it out.
But we
Because-
did. Now
but
we
there's
have to implement. We need friends that can
The
help us implement.
the incentive of the boards is the same as the brokerages. The more people we have, the more money we make.
Yeah, we
That's
need
the
to change
incentive
the
of the board.
incentives. We have to change the incentives. We have to scare them. We need software that scares them, TK.
The boards, like, think about Treb's annual revenue,
It's going down.
and I want to see the
Go
books.
down.
I want
going
to see.
down. Who the fuck is paying
I want to
their
see where that money's
fees?
going. Although they have had a lot of cool stuff lately, Gina. Haven't you noticed? Like every week or two, there's
I
a
am
new
so
announcement.
angry. Okay, here's what I said. I was talking to a client yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, what's the best place to kind of like look on the fly, sort of thing, for like listings?" And I mentioned I don't know if I can say the whatever, the
House Sigma.
HS. Yeah, House
that's
Sigma.
okay.
And I'm
We all
like,
do it.
I'm embarrassed that as an agent, I have to tell my client they should look on House Sigma because it's so much like it's such an
Better.
easy app to use. And
So much
Realtor.ca is garbage. Forget about Treb. Stratus is like the worst way to like.
Yeah.
We pay all these fees and we get like the crappiest product.
Mhm.
Because there's no other option. What if there was another association you could join up with?
Ooh. Doon, 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 doon. But that's the thing. What's
Private.
the
Privatize it.
incentive to go into like for me to join that
We're
board?
gonna train you.
It would,
and
what
we
it'd be
are
like? It'd
gonna
be like the
take
Live
care
Golf
of you.
Tour.
We're
It'd be
gonna
like the
take
Live
care
Golf
of
Tour.
you.
We need the Saudis to back this new real estate board so that we can have this alternative to the PGA Tour. Maybe we don't need the Saudis.
Do we need the Saudis?
Do you know what the Live Golf Tour, Daryl? Do you follow that or no?
No.
Okay. So the PGA Tour, right?
Yeah.
Longstanding.
Is
They
that like the
were-
Women's Football League that Trump did?
Professional Golf Association. The golf tour. So
PGA
the
is pretty big. I don't know golf, and I know
Okay.
that. Come on,
PGA, big
girl.
tour. Okay. So a company called the Live Golf Tour is starting a new golf league. They have started a new golf league, and it's basically like
Their leagues now.
it's basically like a better way. So there's like signing bonuses, and there's like different tournament formats, and there's way for guys to make more money. And one of the backers is like a Saudi Arabian family, right? So obviously there's some human rights type of stuff that people have issues with, whatever. But really, it's just because the monopoly that the PGA Tour has is being questioned. So that's my
TK,
story.
Did you know that that Korea has one of the largest, if not the largest, membership of all professional bodies, and we are like one of the biggest. I guess like, oh shit, what's it called? Lobby groups in Canada.
Federal lobbyists, yeah.
We need a good face. We need a good
100%.
face. Maybe Stephen Punwasi could do it for us. He's
We
a
can
good
get
face
Korea
with
and
him.
Aria to
I
back
like
another
Steven.
municipal board, right? You just have a new municipal board. So I'm going off on another topic here, but you have a new municipal board that
need
is going to
somebody
incentivize
who'll kick
realtors to come
ass.
here. We bring our listings to that board only, and we tell our clients you're going to have only professional realtors that are the best of the industry, who've got the best clients with the most amount of money looking at your
Training.
property. And we won't put it on the Treb MLS. We won't put it on Realtor.ca. It'll be on our new app, and we'll call it.
We're paying them to work for us, not the other way around. Like,
We'll come up with the name later.
we're going to call it incentived.
Anyways, I liked having a conversation with you today, Gina. It was
That was
great.
I
great.
enjoyed it too, guys.
Where do we
Thanks
find you? Where do
for
we find you, Gina? I know Twitter, but
Yeah,
what-
tell us. Shameless plug. Where can our listeners find you?
So my handles are Agent Gina 1 on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, which I'd never go on, and that's pretty much it. Like, if you need to find me, you'll find me.
Nice.
we're going to find
Just
you.
Google her
and
name if you're looking for.
I think a good female realtor podcast is in order.
It is, isn't it?
It is. I was
except
hoping we
I'm
would
not
start
like-
the Beatles today with you and Donna. I was really hoping to
I
make a
love
connection
Donna
there.
so much, Daryl. You have
What
no
a great
idea.
show that would be, wouldn't it? But you can't do it on Sundays, okay?
All right.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
any
you
other
so
day of the
much.
week.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Thanks,
We
Take
Gina.
care.
really appreciate it. Thank you
Okay,
so much,
bye.
Gina.